Good morning.
Morning, Doctor.
Morning. Right. By the way, I sent you some material on phonological processes, so you can check your group. Okay. Right. Okay. Check the group, please. It's all the phonological processes. You have 4 pages here. How many? Right. Right. Remember, we said that human speech sounds often undergo certain sound changes within words or between words. Just a minute. Okay. Silent. Now, when we discuss types of errors, we said that there are 4 types of errors committed. Now, these errors may be committed by foreign language learners or even by native speakers. There are 4 major types of errors that native speakers and foreign language learners commit. These are: 1, addition of an element which shouldn't be there. So an element is added which shouldn't be there because it violates the linguistic system of the language. This applies to syntax, it applies to morphology, it applies to phonology. Yeah. So, for instance, in the area of syntax, very often foreign language learners produce sentences like this is means that it's so and so, or it means that something is so and so. Yeah. Now, this type of error is very common, especially by Arab learners of English. Now, what's wrong here is that there is no need for is, because English sentence patterns do not have such a pattern. We may have subject verb or subject auxiliary verb, whether the verb is present participle form or past participle form. So it's okay to say it's raining. That's perfectly all right. We can say he's watching a movie. That's acceptable. But this is means is unacceptable because of the type of error committed here, which is that of addition. So an element is added, which makes the sentence sound ungrammatical and unacceptable. That's the first type. Second type is omission or deletion of an element which must be there. This happens in cases like say the story published last month. The story published last month. How does that sound? What's wrong with it?
لازم نكتب was
He had.
helping verb.
That's very good. Is that right?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, it should be. It should be. I mean, we can't say the story or the novel published last month or last year, because that means that the novel published itself. So it should be the novel was, or the story was published last month. Now, how would you account for this error? I mean, why such an error is committed by Arab learners of English? In idea?
Maybe the translation كانت literary.
You mean negative transfer?
Yes.
Negative transfer from Arabic. How? It's good. I mean, it's good to determine the error and try to justify it. Say why such and such an error is committed. So it is negative transfer. Yes, Ahmed.
دكتور ممكن لأنه بالعربي بنحكي نشرت الصحيفة أو المجلة الشهر الماضي.
Yeah, that's it.
إنه بس كلمة نشرت.
Yeah, because in Arabic we have internal vocalic change. In the simple present or simple past, we don't introduce an auxiliary like English. Now in English, we must have am, is, are in the present, was, were in the past, followed by the past participle form. In Arabic, we simply have internal vocalic change. We change the vowels. We change the vowels, the harakat, of course. Vowels are harakat, yes. So in Arabic, we say nashara, that's active. To make it passive, we simply say nushira. So that's deletion of when we say the novel published last month. That means that an element which is part and parcel of passivization in English has been deleted. And that makes the sentence ungrammatical again. So in Arabic, nashara goes to nushira. That's all. We change the vowels. So instead of fatha at the beginning, we have dhamma. Nushirat. Okay. This is one of the reasons. It justifies the emission of a certain element which must be there. Same applies to ordering. Even native speakers sometimes commit such errors. For instance, I don't know what's his name. I don't know who is he. I read this. I was reading some material yesterday by native speakers, and I came across this. I don't know who is he. Anything wrong here?
Yes.
Yeah, what's wrong?
I don't know who he is.
I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is, a full stop. But I don't know who is he, that would be a sentence. That's interrogative. Now here, in this context, we need a clause. I don't know. We don't have there's no need for a sentence, another sentence. I don't know. We need a clause which functions as an object. I don't know who he is, a full stop. This happens. I mean, native speakers do that sometimes. Whenever we have a question word, they tend to use verb to be. Right. So that's ordering. We're going to see how this applies to phonology soon. Ordering. So instead of having verb to be subject, or instead of having subject verb to be, the error is that there is something wrong with the ordering. So instead of having subject verb to be, we have verb to be subject. Right. So that's ordering. What's the third type? The fourth type? We have addition, emission, ordering, and substitution. This happens.
Doctor, can you again this types?
Sorry.
Again, addition.
Yes. The four types. One is addition. 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 Now this applies. I mean, if even in writing. I mean, if you are writing an essay or answering a question, always bear these four types in mind. Try to proofread your performance, written performance, or even oral performance in terms of these four types. One is addition, adding an element which shouldn't be there. Two is deletion of an element which must be there.
دكتور بصير تعطينا مثال على الاديشن؟
أعطيتكم مثال وأنا راح أعطيكم مثال في الفونولوجي طبعا لأن this is just an introduction to introduce you to phonological processes. An example of addition. It is means. It is means. It is means. Now the accepted form, grammatical form, would be this means. It is means, or this is means, that never occurs in, there isn't such a pattern as this. We can say this means, it means, but never it is means, or this is means, or he is means. This is an invented, structure. Or sometimes there is overgeneralization. Whenever the past is used for one reason or another, it's always associated with was. He was go. He was ate. Thinking that was makes it past. That's another example of addition. He was came, or he was come. So using verb to be either in the present form or the past form, in both tenses. I mean the simple present and simple past. This is very common. Addition of an element which shouldn't be there. In phonology, of course, it causes a foreign accent. Because a foreign accent, I mean, one of the the key reasons or causes of having a foreign accent is misapplication of pronunciation rules, phonological rules. Okay, the second is deletion or emission. O-M-I-S-S-I-O-N. Emission of an element which must be there. This happens in case of introducing an auxiliary. So how do you translate قيل?
It was said.
It was said. Now قيل is one component. We can't say it said. How do we say يعتقد?
It is believed.
It is believed. Yeah, very good. Yes, it's believed. So we can't say it believed. We can't say it believed because we need it is believed, depending on the tense. In all passive constructions, verb to be must be there, the appropriate form of verb to be. Now this is not always the case in Arabic, because in the simple present and simple past, to form passive, there is no need to introduce a vowel, to introduce an auxiliary in Arabic. So يعتقد, it is believed. يقال, it is said. It is said, not it said. The assignment has submitted, for instance. An example of emission. The assignment has submitted. What do you think of this?
ترجمتها بالعربي
Has
دكتور.
been.
No, is it okay?
No, has been
Has
submitted.
been. Yeah, that's another example of deletion or omission of verb to be. We can't say the assignment submitted. That means that the assignment submitted itself. So what we mean to say is the assignment has been submitted, not has submitted. Has been submitted. Raida, can you translate this into Arabic?
تم تقديم الواجب.
هذا ترجمة جوجل. Yeah, that's Google translation.
يا دكتور
And translation major students, translation, even at the level
يا
of
دكتور
MA and PhD students. أفنان.
يس دكتور سلم الواجب.
لا, that would be it was submitted.
لقد سلم الواجب.
لقد
قد سلم الواجب.
قد or لقد. Yeah. لقد سلم because it's present perfect. So we need قد.
Yes.
There is no need to say تم because قد means تم. قد means تم. قد here stands for تحقيق. That's what we call it. تحقيق and تم. But when we say تم, it means قد. Sometimes they say لقد تم. Now this is redundant. It's as though you are saying قد. Yeah, قد means تم. تم, I think, is used because of the translation of the present perfect. So it's المضارع التام. That's why they say تم. المضارع التام has the Arabic equivalent قد تم. قد سلم. Okay, right. Then we have examples of ordering. Let's have this sentence. Begin the sentence with only if. Only if. Begin the sentence with only if. You study, you will succeed.
يا دكتور.
You study, you will pass. Yes, Ahmed.
Only if you
Begin the
study
sentence
well.
with only if.
Only if you study well, you will pass the exam.
Will you pass? You will or will you?
You will, Doctor.
No, I mean, begin the sentence with only if.
Only if you study well, Doctor, or study hard, you will pass the exam or succeed in the exam.
Will you?
Yeah, it should be will you.
Will you?
Now, any sentence that begins with only if, here we have subject modal inversion. So we say, only if you study hard, will you pass? A full stop. Ordering. No sooner. Begin the sentence with no sooner. The plane had taken off than it crashed.
Can you repeat it, Doctor?
Okay. The plane had taken off than it crashed. So begin the sentence with no sooner.
No sooner had the plane taken off.
No, that's it. That's it. No sooner, not no sooner the plane had taken off. No sooner had the plane taken off than it crashed. Can you translate this? Can you translate it into Arabic? Can anybody do that? This seems, yes, Ahmed.
بس دكتور لم تكن الطيارة تهبط.
No sooner had the plane taken off.
لم تكن الطيارة قد أقلعت.
Okay.
قبل أن تعمل أو تصدم أو.
لم تكد الطائرة تقلع. Yes.
Yes. بس البارت الثاني مش عارف.
Yeah. لم تكد الطائرة تقلع حتى ارتطمت أو تحطمت.
Yes.
So here we have no sooner had the plane, not the plane had. That's another. This is a hazy, shaky area, by the way. Most foreign language learners seem to be unaware of word order as far as beginning a sentence with negative elements is concerned. So this seems to be a hazy area. So I think we need to concentrate on this. It's a problematic area. It represents ordering, errors of ordering. So we need to order. Now we can say he can hardly speak Chinese. But if we, for emphasis, if we front hardly, then what do we say? Hardly he can, or hardly can he?
Hardly can he.
Hardly can he. Hardly can he speak Chinese. He seldom visits friends. Afnan, can you begin the sentence with seldom?
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah. He seldom visits friends. Begin the sentence with seldom.
Seldom.
Yeah.
He visit.
Again.
What's the sentence again?
He seldom visits friends.
Okay.
Begin the sentence with seldom.
Seldom he visits French.
No change.
No change.
ملاحظين يعني we can. It's no good, learning bits and pieces of grammar. Grammar should be studied and taught in its entirety.
دكتور ممكن تعيد الجملة الفيزيت؟
أنا عارف هذه مشكلة في حتى طلبة التوفل ممكن يعني some of them sit the exam 6 or 7 times because they are unaware of these problematic areas. They fail to they can't make it. The sentence reads he seldom visits friends.
Doctor, seldom he visit friends?
No.
Seldom does he visit friends?
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, that's very good. Is that Noor?
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, that's very good. Seldom does he visit friends. Yeah. Seldom does he visit. I mean, skim through this grammar book. This is relevant, I mean, to all courses, I mean, whether they are written or oral, spoken. You have oral, written and oral exercises. I think it's chapter 10. There's a whole unit on using negative beginning sentences with negative elements. So it's worth skimming through. Okay. Okay, so that's to do with ordering. Then we have substitution. Substitution of an element. In other words, instead of using the right form, a wrong form is used. So the right form, the correct form, is replaced, substituted by an incorrect form. So, for instance, he has been watched TV for 2 hours. He has been watched TV.
Watching.
Of course, it has to be the present participle form. He has been watching. We can't say he has been watched. He has been assassinating.
تم اغتياله.
He has been assassinating.
Assassinated.
He has been assassinated, not assassinating. Yeah, he has been assassinated. So here we use the past participle form. Any reason why, Ahmed?
Grammatically structure, Doctor.
Yeah, so what's wrong with it?
We should use assassinated, not assassinating, because he got assassinated.
Yeah, so we use the past participle form. So very often, foreign language learners replace the present participle form by the past participle form and vice versa. So instead of saying I'm interested in history, very often we come across I'm interesting in history. I'm interested in history. Why? Because history is interesting. So that's an example of substitution. None of the students, what do you say, have or has failed the exam?
Has.
None of the students has. Americans, by the way, native speakers of English, replace has by have. So in American English, they tend to say none of the students have. Although I mean none, it stands for no one. No one is. No one has. So these types of errors are committed even by native speakers, let alone foreign language learners. Let alone, what's the Arabic equivalent of let alone?
فيما بعد.
Let alone.
Or let
Not
alone.
just.
دعها كما هي.
Pardon?
دعها كما هي.
Let alone.
Not just.
هو شأنه.
نحو. Again.
هو شأنه.
هو شأنه. الترجمة جوجل ولا فورية؟ No, from the context. I said such errors are committed even by native speakers, let alone foreign language learners.
فما بالك يعني دكتور فما حال
يعمل على جنب
besides or not just.
ناهيك عن العرب
let alone. Okay, let يعني ناهيك عن
ناهيك عن
ناهيك عن. Let alone here means not to mention. Not to mention foreign language learners. Yeah, let alone. Right. Now, phonological processes. Sounds undergo certain changes. These changes may include addition, omission. They may have ordering and substitution. So all these 4 types of errors, try to apply these types to all language skills, their work and grammar. So before submitting, I mean, if you are doing an exam, before submitting your paper, just proofread it, have these 4 types and check whether you've committed any of them. Errors, that is. Have you all got a copy of this? 4 pages, yeah? Phonological processes.
Yes, Doctor. Yes.
Sent. Right. Now, such changes include ordering. Ordering. That's number 1. So in English, very often we hear native speakers say that's a tragedy, for that is a tragedy. Tragedy, native speakers. That's not relevant, for that's not relevant. I asked. Now, instead of ask, you know what an axe is? A-X-E.
Yes, Dr. Fas.
Yeah, okay. So instead of saying ask in American, they say axe. Axe. Now, this is the first process.
Hello, doctor. How are you? Doctor?
Yes?
I cannot attend this class because I'm in the hospital.
Okay. I wish you a speedy recovery.
Oh, okay, doctor. Thank you.
Right. So this is referred to as metathesis. Metathesis is the transposition of speech sounds. Transposition. We transpose. We reorder. Of course, unintentionally. So this reordering is unconscious. Most people seem to be unaware that they are metathesizing. Resumption. Now, this could be an example of epenthesis, adding a voiceless, a voiceless bilabial stop. It occurs in all words that have UME at the end. Assume, consume, resume. Can you think of any other verbs? So assume, assumption with a P. Consume, consumption. Resume, resumption with a P. So in something, it's written without a P, but in such cases, it does have a P, even in writing. I don't know about receive, reception. There's a sound change here. Receive, reception. How do you spell the word receive?
R
I CEIVE.
Again,
REICEIVE.
I thought it was RE.
RECE.
RECEIVE. That's receive. RECEIVE. That's the verb. To make it reception, how do you spell it? Mona.
RESCEMPTION.
Again,
RESE. ممكن
S for C. REC, yes.
معناته RECEPTION.
Yeah, that's it. Reception. In receive, there is an EI after the C. Reception is without an I. It's without an I.
Doctor, parenthesis, I don't get it exactly. Now you said there is an extra consonant added within a word, and you provided us with the example like assume, assumption.
Yeah.
Now, assumption here is the right pronunciation of the word without the P. The P sound.
No. What I'm saying is that we call this a parenthesis. It doesn't necessarily need to be an error. So it's just an addition of an element which becomes part of the word.
Oh,
So
okay.
sometimes adding a vowel, for instance, to the word makes it sound odd. In other words, it does not conform with the rules of pronunciation. So, for instance, when we have a cluster of 3 consonants at the beginning or 4 consonants at the end. Now, if the word is mispronounced, then of course that's an error. So instead of saying sprite, if somebody says sibprite, that's an error. It shows that one is having a foreign accent. Sibprite for sprite. Now in sprite we have C. In struggle we have C. Making it CC violates the phonotactic rules of English. But sometimes there is addition of an element which becomes part and parcel of the word, and that's acceptable. So it's not an error. These are examples of a parenthesis. Now, what is a parenthesis? It's the second phonological process. It's the insertion of an extra consonant within a word, such as the p, the voiceless bilabial stop. We hear in words like something, in all these verbs: assume, consume, resume. These are perfectly all right. I mean, they are accepted and they become part and parcel of the language, of the spelling and pronunciation of the word. Yeah.
دكتور
So we call this epenthesis. Epenthesis is acceptable, of course. I mean, that's I was just giving examples of errors in other areas. But if we violate any of the rules of English pronunciation, then that would be considered a foreign accent. Yes, Mona.
دكتور هسه عند الابنثيسز مكتوب إنه the sound P pa you may hear in something. دكتور
Yes.
وين صوت البا بكلمة something؟
Yeah, I can hear you say this. Can you say it?
something
Yeah.
something
Can you say it?
something.
Yeah, I can hear the pa.
طب دكتور
mean,
وكلمة sense what is the ta sound؟
Sometimes it comes at the end.
sense it؟
Sensed.
آه.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pronounced sensed. Sensed. Yeah. Just listen carefully. Lend a good ear. But in case of words like assume, consume, resume, this could be the only explanation, by the way, for adding the p. This is to ease articulation, I think. Yeah. Right. The next process is number 3, epithesis. Epithesis is the addition of an extra consonant to the end of a word. So it occurs after a final n alveolar or s fricative alveolar. Etymologically, the word sound, if you look it up in the dictionary, you'll find that it was originally sound without a D. The D was added later. So we call this epithetic D sound. Same applies to once. There's a tendency to have a T. Wish. The tendency at the end is to have a T. Yeah. So you'll now and then hear this T at the end of the above 3 examples. And they have become, sometimes they gained legitimacy in spelling. So when we have against, the T was not part of the word. It was added, and it was incorporated, accepted as part of the spelling of the orthography of the word. Yeah. Right. Then we have assimilation. But before we do that, let's just have some application. Right. What's that? Right. There's something wrong here. Okay. Now let me just I checked this before the before we started the meeting. Now let's have just write these sentences down or expressions. As you know, that's one. How about you? Did you? I will let you go. Would you mind closing the window? So let's say these and see if there are any sound changes that some words have, undergo. So who'd like to start? Who'd like to do number one? Reem? Reem Maroy?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, Reem.
In the sentence, would you like to close?
No, I mean, do the first expression.
Again,
The first utterance. The first utterance.
Please.
Pardon? As you know. Can you say this?
As you know.
Can you say it? No, I'm saying as you know. Isolated. Say it in connected speech.
As you know.
Afnan.
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, Afnan. Hadil.
Doctor, what's the question?
What's the question? Nuruddin.
As you know.
Again.
As you know.
Ahmed. Muna,
As you know.
again.
As you know.
Fatima.
As you know.
Now, when perhaps sometimes, of course, if you listen carefully to native speakers, they don't say as you know. They say as you know.
With
Try
a
to
ja?
concentrate. Yeah, it goes to ja sound. As you know. As ja sound. So the za goes to ja. As you know. This is a case of assimilation, by the way. Does that please you goes to does that please you? Please you. Please you. Okay. What's the second?
How about you?
Yeah, how about you? Yeah, that's it. Now, most foreign language learners tend to say, how about you? Now, in connected speech, it goes to how about you? About you. About you. So the ta sound goes to cha. We'll learn the reason why soon. Yes. Next. So how about you?
May I?
How about you? Yes. Okay, Afnan.
Next, did you?
Again.
Did you?
Did you? Yeah.
Did you?
Did you? Did you? Most foreign language learners tend to say, did you? Did you? Okay. What else?
Can I, Doctor?
Yes, Fatma.
I'll let you go.
I'll let you go. I'll let you go. Yeah. How about sit down?
Sit down.
Sit down.
Yes.
So in both British and American, they don't say sit down. They rather say sit down. Sit down. Yeah. The next sentence.
May I?
Yes, sure.
Would you mind closing the window?
Again.
Would you mind closing the window?
Would you mind? Would you mind? Would you mind? Next time we'll start assimilation and we'll have some exercises.
دكتور هذول كلهم حالات assimilation صح؟
Pardon?
هذول اللي أخذناهم كلهم حالات assimilation.
Yeah, this is phonological process number 4. So we had metathesis, epenthesis, epithesis, and now we're going to concentrate on assimilation with we need to combine theory and practice, see how it works. Right. Think of any other changes, any other sound changes or phonological processes, and think of examples. I'll send you some exercises. Right. Do you have any questions? Any questions?
يعطيك العافية دكتور.
الله يعافيكم. Right. Okay.
Thank you.
See you on Wednesday, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Right. Okay.